everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today we are going to dive into a palette review of a Dominique Cosmetics palette, which I have now used at least 3 or 4 times. It is the Celestial Storm palette. Now, to me, and don't mind if it was a little wet, I had just washed my hands in my little sponge. But to me, this color story, this is the kind of color story that I need and want in my life. I can see also, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the shift, but there are beautiful shifts within the shimmer. But these mattes, they're so nice. So what I'm going to do for you is give you a nice little swatchy of all of these, and then I'll also see if I have any dupes. Some of these are more common, kind of like a gray or a brown, but some of these other ones are definitely a little bit more unique and I think look a little different in the pan than sometimes what they look like on the eye. So I will throw that in for you now.
All right, so here we have the swatch of the entire palette put together, which I find kind of interesting because when you look at the palette, it kind of looks prettier than when it's swatched out, but it might just be kind of the configuration on the arm. But there is the whole thing all in one place. As you can see, the shimmers are very glittery. So here shows on the top row, that's just like an actual finger swatch dry. Bottom row is wet. A wet brush, and it does help to kind of pick up a bit more of the glitz, I think, of all of those shimmer shades, but overall not a super huge difference. So first is the Electric Amethyst, and I didn't have like an exact dupe or anything, but the one from Pat McGrath's Celestial Divinity on the far end is definitely the closest. Here, Stargaze, we do have a couple of dupes, but such a pretty kind of sparkle within here, but the other ones seem to still have a little bit more pigment than the one in this palette. Eternal Light is one of those very simple kind of champagne shades that I think a lot of people probably have. It's just how glitzy or glittery do you really want it? Next is Lucid Dream, which is kind of dark here in the swatch, but is much more of kind of like a pinky shade. Really pretty, but something probably people do have. Similarly with our next shade, Storm Dust, is kind of like a warmy, slightly brown, maybe mustardy shade. It's nice, nothing amazing, but we do have some comparable things, just like here with Lunar Eclipse, a nice kind of orangey brown shade that I think a lot of people probably have something similar to. Also, we have Astrid Lust, which is another kind of similar one. It's more of the purple matte that we have within the palette, which I do really enjoy, and I think these do look better on the eyes, all these matte. Same with Mystic Ice here, do have some comparable shades in my collection. All these mattes don't look great swatched out, no surprise. Here's Zero Gravity, kind of a nice cool toned, slightly brown looking just matte gray shade. Then here we have Black Matter, which seems to be a black with just kind of some nice little sparkle and shimmer. I know ColourPop has a lot of these, but the closest one was again with Pat McGrath. Solstice has a bit of a shift to it, which you'll kind of see here, but it isn't super pigmented. You can see more of the shift just within the sparkles themselves, not with actually in the pigment. Similarly to Fireball, Fireball does have a little bit of a shift. It's just kind of hard to catch even on video in a swatch, but some comparable shades.
All right, so hope you enjoyed the swatches and potential dupes. But today I wanted to go in, I am actually wearing a little Packers shirt. Today the Packers are playing, and you know, if we win this game, then we go on to the Super Bowl. So I am about that. If you don't know, I'm originally from Wisconsin. You know, you grow up a Packer fan, forever a Packer fan. That is kind of the whole thing. But this palette doesn't have a whole lot of like gold. It was interesting when I kind of throw this up at a certain angle. There's a little bit of kind of gold reflect within Solstice, so I might play with a little bit of that, but I probably will want to go for a more neutral look. I can throw up here some pictures of different looks that I have done, and they've all been pretty colorful, so I do want to kind of play with this and see what more of a neutral toned eye we can get. just because I think neutral toned can be real pretty. And on my little shirt today, it's in gray, which is interesting. They probably should have done gold because green and gold, but whatever. We are going to follow suit and do a little eye, probably just using Zero Gravity and Eternal Light, but we'll see. But first off, kind of as usual, I'm going to go in and prime. And really, the first thing I'm going to do is take, more so on a fluffy brush, take Zero Gravity, and I'm going to kind of just put that right into the crease and start moving along with that shade, and probably slowly bring it up as I blend it out. But really, we're probably looking at a pretty easy look today. Now, as I went through and kind of blended, I didn't get my favorite kind of blend. I got a little bit of patchiness as I was going through and blending, but it is a darker kind of gray shade. Grays and blacks sometimes are a little bit more difficult to formulate, but most of the other different mattes that I've used within this palette have given me pretty good results. So I'm going to keep kind of building it up a little bit more and probably switch over into a brush that's a little bit more dense to help really get some concentrated pigment in that outer corner. So I've built up that smokiness, which definitely creates a nice looking smoke. I'm going to go into Eternal Light, which is our most kind of neutral shimmer here. And these shimmers feel pretty dry. Comparatively to most other shimmers that I have in my collection, it's pretty dry, but it does look really pretty. I don't know if I get the same sort of payoff. They almost feel perhaps more baked than they do something that is pressed. But when I go in on my finger, I definitely get a really pretty look, and they have a really nice amount of kind of glitz and shimmer to them. Like, I think that's a very pretty easy look to the eye by just kind of tapping in and seeing kind of the glitz. But I am interested to see, let me wet a brush here and see what that does, because I haven't really done that much with any of these shimmers. So on a damp brush, I'm gonna pick up some of the shimmer and kind of lay that, start more on the center portion. And yeah, that really looks very glitzy. Such a pretty shade. I do really like how just these two look. That is such an easy, quick, kind of subtle, well, not subtle, but an easy eye, a very neutral eye that I think majority of people could do. Like, that's two easy, quick steps. And what would be nice too is you really could take a lot of these other colors and pop something. Maybe we'll do something on the lower lash line or in the inner corner and make a little bit more of a statement. But something just like this and putting on the rest of your face and mascara is a very beautiful look. So I'm gonna put on the rest of my face here, and then I'll bring you back in and we'll kind of figure out what we're gonna do with that lower lash line. All right, everybody. So I am back with most of my face here, and I am really pleased with how just like simple and easy the eye looks. But I do want to kind of build something on the lower lash, but I think I'm going to just go in with kind of like a tinier little brush, something little, go into Zero Gravity or gray color and just kind of smudge right on that kind of lash line area. Now, what I think I've decided to do is I'm going to pull in a different palette just so I can get kind of like a brighter yellow pop for my inner corners, because I want to kind of make it a little bit of green and gold just to celebrate the little Packers today. So I'm actually going to go in and use Aya from my Ivory palette, just the super yellow looking yellow. And I just want to go in on the inner corner, and then I'll go back over with the same kind of bright shimmery shade that we had, but when I kind of place down some yellow first, that will give us a good, more yellowy base to have for when I can then go in with the shimmer and make things really pop. But this is something you could also do I toyed with kind of using obviously one of the brighter pops within the palette, but I wanted to do something on theme today from a packers. So there we have that yellow kind of built up nicely, almost kind of greeny yellow, which is fine, good with it. Then I'm gonna go back into Eternal Light, take that on our tiny little brush, and then we're really gonna pack that on and get something nice and kind of sparkly right in that inner corner area. Gives it something a little different, a little interesting, that's all. So, I don't mind it. I think I'm good as is. So what I'm going to do now is put on my mascara, and then we will kind of close down out on some thoughts about the palette. So I've put on my mascara, and really, I am pretty pleased with this look. Now, try not to delve too deep into the inner corner because that is not kind of a yellowy color that we have within the palette. I just wanted to do that to do something a little bit green gold for the pack today, just because these other colors do not scream pack her. But it is nice to know that you can do something neutral. Obviously, if you get rid of that inner corner, it is a very neutral look. But I really love this color story. That is probably what draws me in more than anything, is the color story and having all these colors together. The mattes blend very pretty together. I really, really love them. The shimmers are nice, but you definitely can see some fallout. And I think it is worth perhaps your time to play with if you want to apply them wet or dry. In my swatches, I will definitely be sure to put kind of wet and dry comparisons as well, because I think it's important for a formula like this that feels a little bit more baked, because I do think that when we wet our brush, we got a little bit more concentration of kind of the glitter and the pigment within the shadows themselves. This does make me interested to try some other ones of her palettes and just kind of see what those are like. And yeah, I know you can get this on Sephora. I would assume at DominiqueCosmetics.com. Yep. So, if you're interested in this palette or something else by her, definitely go give it a look. I'm interested and intrigued to try something else from their line. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you are having a wonderful day or night or evening or wherever you are and whatever you may be doing. I hope you are able to do something you love every single day. Thanks again for being here, and see you on the next one. Bye.